Let me get my frickin' stream. Alright, there we go. Excellent.
You're just prolonging it.
Been working. You guys hear me? We're back on the Tankfish saga. I need fun. Me too, Rockman. We're back on the Tankfish saga. Prepared to get 10 bajillion comments saying how I'm milking it. We miss Colorbot? Yeah, I miss him too, man. But yeah. I'm Dunesy, the guy who originally made the How Tankfish Got Away with It video. He made a response to Tankfish's response. So today we're going to be watching it. So yeah, let's get into it. I did watch a little bit before.
Loyal
I did watch a
compatriot.
little bit earlier.
Greetings, my loyal compatriots, and the Tankfish viewer base, who I know will be watching this video. As you may know, Tankfish has released a response debunking my claims against him. However, if you actually analyze the contents of his video and his responses to the allegations, the vast majority of them fall flat, and also hold no weight. So here's my proper video addressing everything which he has brought up in his video. We will divide this into two sections.
Here, let me
In the
turn on
first
the
section, I will
subtitles.
briefly address the main concerns of Tankfish's fans and commenters, with the main criticisms of me and my video. I will then move on to cover Tankfish's actual response. Let's begin. Looking through my comments, the main arguments I can see highlighted are as follows. 1. Drama slop YouTuber, doing it for the money, get the bag bro, etc, etc. 2. It was years ago, Tankfish changed, you can't judge him for what he did in the past. Number 3. Misinformation, lies, and my video sucks. 4. You made a joke, you're a hypocrite. Let's go through these one by one. Here's a graph of my earnings from the video. As someone who was
Yeah, I just want to see a graph of my earnings. Let's see a graph. Let's see my earnings. Let's see how much I make off YouTube. Let's have a gander. Man, where can I see how much money I make? Yeah, I don't make any money off my channel. My AdSense is actually it's not valid, meaning I don't make any money. So I don't know the people who said I do this for money. Broke? Yeah, I guess I'm broke. No, I just don't make money off YouTube.
Groomed in my tenure in Tankfish's community and was heavily exposed to the extreme material being posted there.
I
As
really don't get it. I really don't understand people who are saying, "Oh, when the rent is too high." Like, bro, I don't even live alone. Like, I'm 17. It's just so baseless. Like, like they don't even care about the situation. They're just saying, "Oh, you're doing it for the money." Like, bro, I don't even make money off this channel. I just make videos for fun.
decided against monetizing the video,
Gotta
making
pay for uni
$0 despite
somehow?
having over
No, I already
200,000
have a
views.
college fund.
In fact, I lost money making the video, as I also have with this one, as I paid for parts of it to be made.
I might need to
Even
start
if I
making
did
drum song.
monetize this video, none of the evidence presented nor its
Don't
validity
do
is
it. It's not
changed
worth your
by it
time.
being monetized. What you should be analyzing is the contents of the video critiquing him instead of whether it produced money or not. Now, to those who made this criticism, I would like to point out that Tankfish's response to my video, which presented allegations of him committing what is a crime in his country, contained advertisements, was monetized, and even plugged his
What's
merchandise
up,
in the
William?
description. Therefore, if
What's
you
up,
are
Asian
one of
boy?
the many who commented and criticized me with things such as the rent is due or I'm doing this for the money, you now must also criticize Tankfish for the same, or what you have done is engage in a hypocrisy. Secondly, time does not eliminate the severity of his actions. There's no statute of limitations on the act of exposing children to pornography and accessing or possessing material or content which portrays children in an inappropriate manner. This is something which the law of Canada itself states. Tankfish committed 2 felonies, which I have just explained. The first one being showing pornography to children, and the second one being possessing or distributing pornography containing children or depictions of children. And no matter how long ago it was, he can still be tried for it and still be criticized for it, which is what I did. Furthermore, when he tells you he is a teen in his video, he is in his latter teenage years, still being
Honestly, if you're over 18, you're not really a teenager anymore. You're an adult. I don't really get it. Like he was like 18 to 19 when he started doing the new counts. He was a legal adult. I just don't get it. I really don't.
legally an adult, meaning that he was intentionally evasive and misrepresenting his actual age bracket within the video. Whilst it's true he was a teenager, he was in the 18/19 years age bracket. The 2 years
Saying he's a
of the
teenager,
teenage years that actually
saying
make
he's
him
a
a full
teenager is a
adult.
bit of a stretch. I mean, yeah, I
However,
guess
moving
Doomsy's trying to
forward,
give
I
the
will further
benefit of the
look into
doubt, but
this.
like,
As an example,
honestly, if you're
Tankfish
over
was able
18,
to
you're not a teen,
create
you're an
and
adult.
produce sexually driven thumbnails years ago to an audience predominantly made of children. You may recognize him from the Gone Fishing saga. Milkdead's actions later are still unforgivable, and by comparison, what Tankfish did was a lot worse. In fact, when he returned to make his response to Gone Fishing, Milkdead received enormous amounts of backlash for what he did years ago, despite it having been ancient at this point, and rightfully so. If he is continually ostracized despite not having committed as severe a transgression as Tankfish, Tankfish himself should be held in the same regard to the same level of criticism. So we've established he was still an adult doing this.
What do you mean? Tankfish? Tankfish is low-key my goat. He did nothing wrong. Yeah, I'm like 14 years old and I really only care about the presentation and his content, so yeah, he did nothing wrong.
We've established that time doesn't negate the actions committed, and we've established that certain crimes are simply unforgivable. And thus this point about it being old drama is extremely worthless and does not vindicate him. Third point, you evidently did not watch my video properly. I presented valid evidence, and in Tankfish's own response,
Oh
he
man.
does not contest the evidence, aside from the Parlo Mossad psyop, and he even doesn't address some of the most pressing allegations outright, primarily due to the fact that there is no defense for them. We will see this soon as he ignores entire sections of my video. Finally, this is the funniest point made out of all of them. For those who require context, Himpleton and my good friend One I Know decided to use Polybuzz, the AI app which Tankfish advertised to his child audience that contains sexual content, with Tankfish as the AI character. One of these roleplays was a roleplay where a squad of SA monkeys were touching Tankfish. Now here's where this criticism originates from. Tankfish makes a claim in the latter half of his video that myself and Himpleton made a joke about assaulting him with these monkeys, and cites an AI chatbot as evidence. Firstly,
Oh, I want to try something. Let's see. I posted your stream in my post. Thanks. Whatever, Google Brave AI is being boring. Experts distinguish between different types of nuclear posture. What does this even mean? Let's ask ChatGPT. One. Am I being threatened? Whatever. I guess AI fixed it.
during during the first Tankfish stream by Himpleton, I did not make this joke myself once. I simply laughed at it, and we can in fact see this in the clip Tankfish shows himself.
Does Tankfish actually feel threatened by this? I or is he just trying to like really get all the breadcrumbs here and eat what he can? Like, there's no way he's serious that he felt scared by this. Like, I just don't get that.
ImDunesi's and his friend Himpleton made about me.
Rape monkeys have arrived for Tankfish. We're gonna rape them to death.
They're waiting my orders. I am getting them the orders, and they are gone now.
And 3, 2, oh, and he's raped.
The goblins have stolen his.
I've linked the VOD in the description to both streams, so you can look at the first stream and see in its entirety that I in fact made no jokes about monkeys assaulting Tankfish throughout that whole first stream. Secondly, his use of AI several times throughout his response video is a testament to the lack of reasoning skills that he can actually muster up himself within the video, and the poor responses being made, which we will go into more. Thirdly, a squad of monkeys assaulting you is not an actionable threat. There is no real-world scenario where I'm capable of training a squad of primates to surprise you outside
You
your
sure?
house.
Because monkeys are pretty smart. I think they can do it.
fulfilled. Finally, Tankfish tries to claim there was no context behind this clip or punchline behind this joke in his video.
So what's the punchline here? What's so funny?
Since I have now given you the context for this joke, he was either too lazy to actually find this, though I doubt it since he was actually watching that stream, forgot that there was context, or was intentionally malicious. It is also worth noting to those believing that me laughing at this joke and then making this joke myself in the second stream is a hypocrisy comparable to what Tankfish did. It is simply not. A joke about a squad of monkeys trained in touching you without consent made over the internet is what would classify as edgy humor, and does not reflect into the real world nor cause real world damage. Tankfish showing pornography to children and his underage viewers, and also linking it, on the other hand, does in fact cause damage in contrast through EPI and through instilling a porn addiction in an underage mind. It causes psychological harm to these developing minds, and as we've clearly established, is a crime. Therefore, none of these things can be attributed to a joke about a fictional squad of apes assaulting someone, meaning that conflating the two is a false equivalence fallacy. Before we continue on to the next section, I must showcase the findings of an inquisitive Kiwi Farms user by the name of Shitfucker. Shitfucker discovered that in 2020,
Without had to come to the point where we had to explain that apes aren't a threat to somebody's safety, like fictional rape apes. Will you're falling off because there's no algorithm boost. I haven't posted in a while, let's go.
Tankfish downloaded exploits from a shady site which logged some of his details, which I will not be showing in this video since
What's
I
up,
do not
Chicken
endorse
Workshop?
the spreading of people's private data. However, what I will show is the alleged search results that were attached to his emails found from these associated
Jesus,
servers.
yeah, no. When all this stuff originally got leaked, I did see some of these. This is actually really crazy. Like, the stuff he was searching is wild, and I don't support like doxing or whatever, but like honestly, the stuff he's searching is crazy. It is actually heinous.
Logs.
And keep in mind, in Tankfish's response, he's literally said that he wouldn't search this kind of stuff up because apparently he's not into it, even though the the, the search history is right here.
Now please do explain to me in what realm snuff is something defendable for this man to be searching up. So if you still defend this guy after seeing all of these supposed search terms that he has, then you are defending him accessing illegal content.
Oh yeah, baby. Yeah, W Tankfish on this one, man. Tankfish is my hero. Freaking love that guy. He did nothing wrong. I have no ears and my eyes are gouged out. I'm completely blind to the truth.
Some of which that we can see from these search results actually matches up with the new codes that he was using in his videos. So it's not particularly out of this world that these are his search results. Now onto my actual breakdown of
Yeah, but he did this back in 2020. He did this back in 2000 BC. Like, no biggie that he searched up Lolly and Shotacon. It's like not that big of a deal. Like, so what if you did an actual crime and got away with it? No biggie.
his response video. We're going to put a lie counter up in the corner every time Tankfish makes a lie, and we'll count them all in the end. First of all, let's discuss what happened after my video aired. To begin, my video had botted comments spammed on it with nonsensical arguments that I'm attributing false motives to Tankfish's actions, when the video used hard evidence to show actions he had committed undeniably. There weren't even any efforts to nitpick the points made in the video, instead making general comments. Some inquisitive Kiwi farmers decided to look into where these comments were coming from, and found accounts that were made a day before my video
They were
was
located in
released
Israel.
during the premiere. And as it turns out, a vice administrator in the Chaos Legion Discord server known as Ash
He's located in
had
Israel too.
linked an alternative email that had his account's name attached to it on the YouTube channel of one of the comments. After the revelation that the Chaos Legion staff themselves had botted comments and attacked my video, including a friend of Ash Apple, the comment he made was deleted.
Israel
and sent on his
spies.
alt.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the actual video. Immediately, Tankfish within the first 6 seconds gives us a general summary of what he had in store for us. This summary already fails to address several things. The TLDR does not address the core issues and simply makes the claim he is not a groomer. Next, he claims the new codes were simply AI references. This is an extreme downplay of what it actually was. The new codes were numerical sequences you could input on a certain site that led to NSFW content, which he would have picked himself. He then says we are bringing this up again as the blurred frames drifted in the YouTube editor. If this were the case, he could still have very much trimmed the ends of the video entirely from the start to prevent the new codes from being viewed. Additionally, this shows he did not double check these codes whatsoever. This is something that we see frequently where he is completely incapable of actually being held accountable for.
Yeah, especially the part where he accidentally it like censors the part where it says new code instead of the actual number itself.
For his actions and actually doing something about them, rather choosing the lazy option instead. Something he also did not do is censor or blacklist keywords related to the new codes in his comment sections, which meant that even if he censored these, you can still find them in the comment section. He then briefly touches up on the fucked up codes, making the claim that he did not know what they led to and reposted them. Here's the issue with this statement. Tankfish at this point had been making multiple jokes related to new codes and them leading to content. Seeing several sets of 6-digit numbers in this meme when he's literally making the new code joke should have wizened him up enough to check what's behind them. In addition to this, one of the new codes led to a
Yeah,
comment
no,
which I will
you're
not read
exactly
aloud.
right, Chicken. When I was, I've said this so many times, but when I was investigating like the first video that Tankfish put like a new code in, we literally saw a code. I had to like delete the original VOD. The audio is really quiet. Okay, I'll use it. Yeah, the damage has been done.
This video that was a known code beginning with 177. This code led to an artwork of a 16-year-old student being groomed into and dying
What
in a
the
bathroom. On his most viewed video, the JoJo's
hell?
Bizarre Adventure one, he had a new code leading to an alternative ending of this comic where Josuke Higashikata from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 heals the girl to make her normal again. So, using this video, we can come to the conclusion Tankfish picked this code himself as it fits the JoJo theme of the video, and that Tankfish also is likely aware of what this 177 comic is, as he has referenced it more than once
What
now,
the hell's that
and
thumbnail?
even
Yeah,
picked it
it's
to be included
Tankfish.
as a new code with an alternative ending on his JoJo video. As for the Polybuzz section, I am very certain you can omit the sponsorship from your video by refunding the money that paid for it and voiding the agreement.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know the contract that Tankfish like agreed on, but most definitely he could just refund the money and just void the contract and just remove the ad from the video. But Tankfish just wants money. He's not going to do that, obviously.
But money over morals, I suppose.
But a comment I did see under this video is that somebody said, "Oh, maybe the contract didn't allow that." But honestly, it really just depends. But worst case, you would have to leave the ad up, and he can't like refund the money to void the contract, which I doubt. I really do think he can just refund the money and just remove the ad entirely.
Also, don't view the site as inherently NSFW. I wonder what his argument will be for this, considering we saw a real child in an NSFW roleplay on the
Just to add on to this, I'm still get for some reason once in a while I still get a Polybuzz ad. It's like Polybuzz is just teasing me at this point. It's like they're like poking me with like their softcore NSFW ads. Like I got some like I think last month. Like bro, it's this like back in May I was getting ads for Polybuzz again. Like it's freaking crazy. It's actually crazy.
front page at the
Polybus steals artwork from people too. That is wild. I mean, yeah, it's AI website. What do you expect? Targeted ads, bro. You want to see the stuff I watch on YouTube? I just watch Portal stuff, Moist Critical stuff, occasionally Dan TDM to get my nostalgia up. That's pretty much it. This is my. Shouldn't that information be censored? What information? Bookson, Flamingo. None of this. This should not give the information about the kid. What do you mean? Are you talking about the new code thing? Or, like literally nothing of this translates into Polybus. I don't understand the argument of targeted ads. I feel like that's a myth. Or not a myth, but I feel like the system is extremely broken because literally none of this should translate into the ads I'm getting. The system's just broken. I know I was joking. You're a groomer and I feel threatened.
top of the Mafia tag. Next, he continues to omit more information about the live streams. He doesn't admit the fact that him and his circle lied about the stream being private, which I called him out on. He also lies to you claiming they were deleted, as clips of the stream still exist on his Thoughtfish Twitch channel.
Wow, I actually didn't know about that. I actually thought that Tankfish removed the clips, but or anything remnants of the stream, but no, there's still stuff out there. That's crazy. I
These
did not
clips
know
are
that.
accessible by anyone to the time of me recording this, and the content of these clips include a drawing of
By the way, the clips show him writing a deal and stuff. That is, yeah, no, yeah, that is actually crazy, dude. I thought Tankfish like actually remove the Twitch thing, but no, that is actually just really wild.
his character riding in graphic detail. This is
Yeah, no,
beyond
Tankfish is
suggestive artwork.
completely.
This is
Yeah,
just he
he's
doesn't
innocent.
even mention either that he posted these drawings from these streams in the
He is
aforementioned
taking
NSFW
accountability on
channels
it.
which minors could view. Finally, he mentions this was all already addressed and apologized for. Once again, you can claim it doesn't reflect who you are
That's not
today.
removed. He lied
That
about
is
it.
if one of your videos didn't
Yeah.
include an image of Astolfo with exposed underwear and his protruding out of his underwear too.
Jesus Christ.
But it still doesn't change the fact that what you did is a felony by your country's own laws. I can absolutely criticize you for it years later, no matter whether you apologized, and the way you addressed it included lying and also downplaying the
This is
severity
caught
of it.
here.
So no, you did not properly address it,
I'm
nor take
here.
accountability. Moving on from this TLDR, he then goes on to show this timeline. Side note, I love how condescending he is here. The first and second weren't good enough, as if what you did is not considered a crime in your country. Now explaining the new codes, he tries to compare the joke to the intro music. The difference between the two is the introduction is one which would relate to the entire site as a whole. You were using specific new codes which led to the NSFW comics which you handpicked with tags that were very disturbing and vastly inappropriate. Of course, he never brings up any of the tags that I showed his new codes led to. He doubles down on this comparison by saying that it was
I don't get. I really don't understand how any tankfish can be in the comments saying, "Oh, you're dragging it. Oh, he apologized for it." Like, don't you think this is a bit concerning? The stuff that Tankfish has been viewing? Like, dude, if I was a fan, if Flamingo did this, for example, and I was a fan of him, I would, like, be very concerned and I would stop watching. It's crazy because, like, I like Tankfish's videos. I like some of the videos, like the Trenches one. I've said this many times. I've watched him for a while, and, like, this stuff is, like, concerning. Like, I would not see Tankfish the same, and I don't. Like, bro, it's very concerning, really.
if you know basis. He even goes as far as to say that the new codes could be any 6-digit number, and you need to know a specific URL sequence for this to work. Now, this argument would hold some weight if he didn't show an uncensored screen showing the sites that you input the new code on, with an uncensored Astolfo comic from the said site, with the tags and full title of the comic on
This is Tankfish is the same person, by the way, that had the defense of, "Oh, I'm not gay," to one of the new codes that had Shada Khan and a gay and lolly or something. I forget what it is, but it was like a new code that had, like, underage gay children or whatever. And his defense of that was, "I'm not gay, therefore I wouldn't post that in. Sorry, I wouldn't put that in my video." That was his defense.
censored on one of his videos. So you provided enough of what would be needed to access the site and the comic on it anyways. Excellent work, Tankfish. I was not familiar with your game. This comic was also used as a new code in another video. So you gave all the information needed in order to actually access these new codes. Furthermore, as someone who was a minor
Got
in
all
his
the
Discord
infinity
server
stones.
during all of this, many of his staff and server members there would straight up tell you what the new codes were and how to get them.
W
And
Tankfish.
people, like Tankfish himself, would post
My
some of these
hero.
codes in there and make jokes about them. This was an environment entirely cultivated by his own actions and his degeneracy. To prove the point that his community was highly civilized, I have come across a document made by Tankfish's admin Ron, the same admin who created the Tankfish defense doc. Ron was a minor at the time of making this doc that I am about to show you. This here is the fan art competition document, but it's not just any kind of fan art. It is NSFW fan arts of his underage staff members being drawn by the server members. Some of the requests included requests of fan art, certain sizes of ass, and all sorts of colorful activities and drawings for you to make. Man, what a great server to be in. As you can see from what I'm showing you, if the staff were like this, you can imagine what the rest of the server would be like, especially when considering that most of these people were minors. So yes, all it took for you to find out what the new code joke was was to join that Discord, ask, and have some fully grown adult DM you a full link to the
W,
site
W
and show you
Tankfish.
exactly how to use these
W's in the
codes.
chat.
And if that wasn't obvious already, you also had YouTube comments explaining how you should do it. Ones which are still
Yeah, evident from a couple streams ago when we had a literal comment on Tankfish's first video with a new code, literally just reposting the code itself. Amazing.
not blacklisted by Tankfish. Going forward, he compares himself to a variety streamer and content creator, Moist Critical, citing his content as coming from the 2020 era where content was more normalized. However, this
I think I did that for every video. Yeah. I mean, pretty much every video that Tankfish had with the new codes, there's gonna be a comment like reposting the new code.
comparison still fails due to two reasons. Firstly, he still admits he continued the new codes 3 years later, from 2020 to 2023. Following this time period, and as I've already shown, still makes jokes and many examples of adult and inappropriate humor to his underage audience to this day. Secondly, Moist Critical is a variety content creator who has an outreach to a generally older audience, not appealing purely to children like a Roblox YouTuber would. Before the argument is made that Tankfish is generally for older audiences, his Discord servers allowed minors, and we already showed comments of him replying to underage children about inappropriate topics. My favorite one
I find it so funny that people who defend Tankfish say that, oh, his videos are for an older audience. But Tankfish literally knows that his audience consists of children. If he knew that, like, he knew that his audience consisted of children, yet he still continued these jokes. Like, I just don't get it. And being a Roblox content creator, it's inevitable that kids are going to see your videos. Like, you just have to have awareness. And obviously, Tankfish was aware that children were watching his videos.
the "he'll be more cultured" comment to someone's 12-year-old brother. This is already in addition to him hiring staff who were underage in his Discord who were specialized in artwork. So the argument he's a Roblox YouTuber targeted at an older audience,
we're not
when old
halfway
is
through.
considered, is a terrible argument to make.
We're in the thick of it.
He then goes on to claim he was a stupid, immature teenager in his video.
He was not. He was 18 and 19. That's not really teenagers himself, but gotta give the credit, gotta give the benefit to the doubt of the Tankfish defenders. Yeah, sure, he's a teenager, very old one.
Which is a somewhat deceptive comment to be making, as it is true he was a teenager, but he was in the teenage bracket of being an adult, aka above 18. As we've already stated, you are legally considered an adult at this age, and you
Yep.
should know better by then not to do stuff like that, and it should not take you 3 years to realize that including codes that link to pornography in a video pandered to children is a bad idea. He then shows a frame of some of his Discord messages where he's playing a game about guessing the idea of a 16-year-old femboy from an anime. As a grown adult, how else are you supposed to take it when a grown man is commenting on the idea of an underage character? This is all to make the overarching point that he's not the same person who he was 6 years ago. Last year, he took an AI sponsorship from an NSFW chatbot, which will be discussed more later, and his recent videos aren't any better. We already discussed how his videos had uncensored frames of femboys being portrayed sexually, and we also spoke about how he had a plug falling out of his character's ass in the Tankfish evidence server.
Crazy.
He later tries to argue this is nitpicky and even goes on to make an outrageous, fallacious argument later on, which we will discuss. But even with all this considered, it doesn't change the fact it is an overt sexual reference and joke pandered at a child audience. It would be inappropriate to show a plug to a child, Tankfish. Looking at the fans commenting on his video and my video too, it's pretty safe to say that these are all children watching and commenting on these videos. He
Yeah.
then dedicates the following part
There's nothing you
of
can
the
do,
video
really. It's
covering
just children. Really. You look at my comments of the Tankfish videos, it's all children. You can see like the same YouTube account posting like 20 comments or 10 comments on, not 20 comments, that's a bit too much, but 10 comments all just defending Tankfish. Like, it's all children, dude. There's really nothing you can do. But, you know,
the original A Man Seeks document and cites their response document to this. Here's the issue. I spent the last 10 minutes of my original video on him debunking their entire response document, which he is now telling his fans to have a look at. Looking at the view ratio between our videos, this would mean more people have seen him citing this defense doc as a valid defense than those who are aware that my video had already debunked his entire.
I think they just have their heads up their asses. I bet they're not even thinking at all, really. In my opinion, I just don't think these Tankfish defenders are thinking at all. Really, they're just not thinking at all. They're just going on to Dunesi's video and saying that it's misinformation for no reason. Like, what part of the video is misinformation? I asked a literal Tankfish defender what part of it is debunked, and they couldn't even answer that question. If you go into one of my videos, you can see, oh, Dunesi's video was debunked. I replied to him saying, what part of it was debunked? Because I was genuinely curious. And he couldn't even respond to that. He said, oh, no, I didn't say it was debunked, but like, blah, blah, blah. I'm a Tankfish fan. And like, even one of my friends was in that reply section asking, are you high? Like, bro, they're not thinking. They're just not thinking. Like, they just post a comment. That's it. That's all they do. They just type and shit, bro.
Entire document, which was filled with fallacies, lies, and nonsensical defenses to his actions. He continues on how he was accused of bribery, which I had already stated at the beginning of my breakdown of their response doc, was not something that had enough evidence to accuse him of. Firstly, there is a section in which they cover allegations that the dark truth about Tankfish video was bribed into being a meme video. This was a weak accusation with little to no grounds to back it, and the owner of the video, to my knowledge, said that he was never bribed. As such, I find it incredibly dishonest that he is even citing this defense doc after I had already covered it extensively for 10 whole minutes, and went over how the defense in it was extremely lackluster. As for Runker's NSFW channel, which he states Ruben had, one I know stated on the Himpleton livestream that Runker's NSFW channel existed back when Discord had barely even started, and Ruben was still 17 at that time, before it was deleted.
The argument is saying that we shouldn't judge Ben because he also had an NSFW server, but also, channel. But the context is this was in the first year of Discord's existence, mind you, aka 2015 when Runker was first created, and then the channel was shortly removed after, I think, the New Year's of 2016. And also, I'm pretty sure Ben was 17 or 18 at this time, meaning at a younger age, Ben had a better understanding of what not to do as a content creator than Tankfish.
Even then,
I don't even know much about Runker. I thought that game was made during the time when the raid Area 51 thing was still like a huge thing back in like 2019 or something. I didn't know it was made that far back. I was in like first grade. That is actually so crazy to think about. Back in 2016, 2015, I was like in first grade. I'm 17. That is crazy to think about. Wow.
unlike with him, there's no indication nor evidence that Ruben himself did post NSFW in these channels, yet Tankfish very openly and blatantly posted the results of his drawing streams in these NSFW channels, which were accessible to all of his child audience and members of his Discord. He once again goes back to saying how the new codes were dealt with in 1 to 3 days. This is a lie. Green Lego Cat spent a good portion of his video explaining how the new codes took months to be removed, as he consistently was lazy with the censoring or missed videos out entirely. This is without even mentioning how when I first released my video, we found several videos of his that still had the new codes uncensored at the last second on the Himpleton stream.
I was just watching a Tankfish video, it uncensors at the end so you can see the code.
Oh, that's great. So the censors after years are still not proper. That's awesome.
I swear to fuck, I was just, look, Jamal, go to the end of this video and look at this. It uncensors at the end.
Because
I was looking.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you. When Tankfish said that it was dealt in with 3 days, I just took it because, like, okay, sure, you did it in 3 days, whatever. But, like, I did not know. Like, obviously, I knew that the censoring wasn't perfect. But when Tankfish said it was all fixed within 3 days, like, okay, he took action in 3 days, but, like, I didn't know he was this lazy.
a joke.
I didn't know it
and
was
then
this delayed.
it uncensors at the end.
It does. You therefore cannot make the claim that they were dealt with in 1 to 3 days when the evidence states the direct opposite. It is
Yeah.
not 1 to 3 days if your new codes were still uncensored years later and you
Yeah.
had to be contacted by other YouTubers for months straight to fix your editing. He then makes potentially the stupidest
Yeah,
argument. in his
that's the thing with Tankfish's presentation. He says, "Oh, it was dealt in 1 to 3 days." You really got to get more context. Context is very important because it took him this long. It took him until May of this year to get all fixed, completely fixed.
whole video so far, where he states codes he showed weren't in fact codes he posted, under the reasoning that they had gay tags. And he's not gay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was abundantly clear that the codes he's showing you either came from the Twitter posts or came from
Oh my
specific
God. I
videos
can't
that
believe he
named
made that
in my
defense.
video. And I've
I really
already
just can't believe
mentioned that there was a recognizable code that he referenced in this video. Also, he did show codes that contained gay content, whether he's gay or not. For example, the Astolfo Femboy comics. Saying you're not gay does not suddenly disprove that you sent these codes when the evidence says the opposite.
Oh
He
my
then
God.
shows a clip of a random conversation he had on Discord, which is a clip I in fact showed in my first video, showing that this was just
What was
a
that
random
profile
joke
picture?
that he
My
was
God.
making, and not him being actually gay.
Jesus Christ.
What he fails to mention in this video is the codes that he was showing in these Discord messages contained artwork of a underage boy being brutally assaulted by an older man.
Tankfish right here.
This
My
content
hero.
is illegal to possess in Canada and
Thanks,
distribute,
Tankfish.
yet he distributed the code in the Discord in the original video, and he also proceeded to ask why she has a dick to
Yeah, Tankfish really earned his fan
underage
base, huh?
child that is being stood in front of him in this comic. There is no world where this is defendable nor forgivable. There is something also worth noting which Himpleton pointed out about this point he made.
That way,
You're-
no.
You gotta be kidding, man.
It's
So essentially what he just did is he confirmed that the reason that he was doing nuke codes was partially, at least partially, for pleasure and not just because it was a joke.
By stating he didn't show certain codes as he's not gay, he's made the implication that the codes he did share are codes that he finds arousing or appealing to him,
He likes
as opposed
kids.
to ones that aren't appealing to him, such as the gay ones. This would mean that, by his own words, he chose the codes based off of what turns him on. And looking at the tags of some of these, this is a terrible look, and would also
Yeah.
imply that he's
No, you don't say.
content that arouses him to children. If he was attempting to make himself look like he was not a groomer, he just did the complete opposite. He then talks about the fucked up codes and laughs about how fucked up they are. Bear in mind, these codes had children in them. His claim that we confused it intentionally is a pretty weak counter to what I was showing in my video too. I stated where these codes came from exactly when I was naming them in my video, and I distinguished the ones that were from the Twitter post to the ones that were from his YouTube videos. I will do the last ones I want to mention. These are from a Twitter post which he reposted and had multiple new codes in them. He claims he didn't know what these were. However, one of the codes in them is a very notable code that most gooners such as himself would know. And it kind of is a no-brainer that when you're making these jokes, you should be checking what they lead to. So I think his plausible deniability is
Yeah,
pretty
but he's
limited
Tankfish.
here.
Like,
These codes,
He doesn't
no
have to
matter
do
where they
that.
were posted, were inappropriate and shouldn't have been posted. And whether you knew or not, you still did it with a lack of due diligence. This also doesn't change that you made other Twitter posts showing pornography and posts like this piece of coal here. He then
Christ.
shows the messages from 2021, talking about how the timeline would indicate that he hadn't been called out for the new codes yet, and using it as evidence for the 2023 drama. Whether these messages were before or after the drama, they're showing you admitting to showing new codes to minors and knowing what you were doing at the time. And you were an adult during the sending of these messages. They're absolutely relevant. Trying to disavow these messages because they came before the drama would be the equivalent of stating that Kaneko Kitten is innocent of being a child.
yeah, no,
because
yeah,
his
Kaneko
child
Kid's
messages
completely
were
fine, bro.
before the
Like,
drama happened.
W
It can't be
Kaneko.
used as proof against him. See why that sounds stupid? He then puts it under the guise that he was just joking. And it would be a joke if that wasn't the exact thing you were doing. The justification for all these comments is that he's being shit on by thousands of people, and as such, it's disingenuous to include these messages that he had sent since he was stressed out. You sent thousands of fans to attack me for laughing about a joke on rape monkeys, and I didn't freak out and start joking about raping animals. I think you can do the same in regards to you joking about showing to children.
However,
Yeah, no, it's a completely
that
funny
is
joke.
not me anymore. I have
Knee
already
slapper.
addressed it, taken full accountability, and moved forward.
There's something Tankfish doesn't inherently understand, and that's that he has a pattern of doing this stuff. As we've seen even recently, it has continued. He doesn't even understand the fact that if you did these
You guys notice something? Like, this is like completely irrelevant from what he's saying, but notice how all Tankfish fans don't go live and try to defend Tankfish. You want to know why? It's because their point would be destroyed in less than 5 seconds. That's why they only go to comment sections, because like arguing over on YouTube comments is like it's just really ineffective. So that's why they comment, because it's hard to respond to them. That's why they don't try to go live, because they know that their point is going to get destroyed immediately. They're just children.
things in the past, especially when you are an adult, and when it's illegal, you can still be criticized for it. He keeps bringing up the same point throughout the
And sorry to pause again, but Himpleton also said that he like invited Tankfish, like he asked Tankfish for his say, and Tankfish just did not respond. Like Tankfish, like he knows that Tankfish saw his invitation. Like it's pretty obvious Tankfish saw the Himpleton stream. So why doesn't he want to come on and address it live on air? Why does he want to talk live?
video as if it means anything.
When in reality, it was just a few frames that I have missed. This could be caused by my personal mistakes, but I think that's unlikely considering me and Ruben verified these multiple times. So it was likely due to YouTube editor glitching out. Search it up, it's called frame drift, and it happens over time.
You and Ruben may have verified it multiple times. Codes were still uncensored, however, as we've shown. This therefore means literally nothing if they were still uncensored. Now let's quickly break down what frame drift is. In YouTube Editor, your blurred frames cover a certain portion of the video when first added. These blurs can automatically lock onto a different object within the video and drift across the screen, which ruins the censor.
And then there it is.
Well,
What
here's
I mean,
here's my thing. Here's my thing. I could buy that it was a glitch, period. But what I can't buy is that it's a glitch that caused the frames to shift over the years. That makes no sense.
As you see, in his videos, the censor entirely disappears at the end. Even with all this accounted for and the misunderstanding of the frame drift, he still could have trimmed these endings entirely, and it showed he didn't check nor verify the censors himself at all. If you had really taken accountability for something that you did, would you continue to have not paid any attention to it, or would you have actually double-checked and worked on the mistake to ensure that it is not persistent or continued? I don't see how Green Lego Cat's calling you out publicly for doing something this incredibly autistic is a poor judgment on his part, when he's calling you out for something you were ignoring despite how dangerous it was after months of messages and you defending it constantly to his face in private. Even now, Tankfish hasn't actually blacklisted any of the new codes from his comment sections as we've already mentioned, meaning you can still find all of them. At a certain point, your terrible responsibility goes from being as a result of negligence to turning into something malicious when you are this reckless with it.
I genuinely don't understand why the worst possible interpretation of my actions is being assumed and then presented publicly.
I wonder why. He then asks what is the relevancy to him defending his actions after being confronted in private about this. I don't know. Maybe the fact you're defending that you're linking to children and drawing in front of them as an adult? Or are we not going to address the streams at all throughout this whole video?
Do you keep having to bring
Oh,
up
no, you
someone
obviously
else's
don't
past
believe them,
mistake to
but-
justify your position to make it seem like you're on the moral high ground?
The moral high ground. Is it that high of a moral high ground that we think you committing a crime by showing to children repeatedly means you shouldn't have gotten off scot-free? These aren't just past mistakes, they're felonies.
For the years this drama has been going on, he hasn't initiated contact with me even once.
So what were all the messages you just showed less than a minute ago in private of him telling you what you did was wrong and telling you what new codes to censor? In fact,
that's
some of
right.
the messages Green Lego Cats showed are of his confrontation in private, which predates the Twitter argument you had with him.
You're literally the issue why these dramas happen.
It's not drama, it is you committing 2 felonies. It is not our fault, it is entirely on you for showing to children as a legal adult. And you had multiple one-on-one conversations with several other YouTubers beforehand, which I had seen. Had I had this conversation with you, it would be a repeat of these previous instances, which would amount to nothing. If you would like to speak one-on-one, Tankfish, I formally invite you to do so with me. Again, he discusses his apologies, which we've already explained doesn't suddenly vindicate you of having committed a crime. Wait, what's that smell?
Drama Slop Supreme, Parlo, aka
Oh, Barlow!
God!
Barlow!
Let's see what he has to say about Barlow.
brought up the situation again.
Oh,
like a
Barlow.
100-something-page document filled with many out-of-context claims and assumptions.
Context was provided in huge text walls in this document. I don't see how you could make this claim that it's out of context when he spends a huge portion of these 100 pages giving the context.
Obviously, in the end, the main issue still came back to the same topics, the new code joke and the hentai streams.
There were more than just new codes and hentai streams.
No,
being
Barlow,
covered on
let's
here.
collab, bro.
Allow me to tell you what Tankfish does
No,
not tell
man.
you Parlo spoke about in this document on him. Here's a huge section dedicated to how Tankfish left disturbing comments, hearted comments from children, and
My
discussed
God,
topics
dude.
such as the new codes and he was posting, even acknowledging that these people were children. Here's a huge section about him defending love in order to cover for his friend Sad, who tried defending it and consumed this content. Here's the same point I'm making about him posting on in a Discord server to children and watching it. Here's Parlo also breaking down that your defense doc sucks and makes 0 sense. Here's him covering your previous moderator, Milim, also known as Miko. This was a former moderator of Tankfish's Chaos Legion server who killed 2 minors. He engaged in sexual messages with a 12-year-old when he was 16 and paid her not to tell his girlfriend when he turned 18, and then grouped another 14-year-old with sexual messages about bathing him and doing other disturbing things to him. Even by his own former girlfriend's admission, he attempted to SA her. The best part is he constantly posted material in the Chaos Legion server, and no staff member took actions on him, despite him having very clear warning signs, and his ban reason was even completely unserious. Here's Parlo showing several examples of how degenerate your community and server were at the time of him making this document, which were entirely relevant to what he was doing. And now, here's the pizza party incident. I refrained from talking about this in my original video since it was getting too long, and I wanted to focus primarily on Tankfish. However, you could make a solid 1-hour video purely on the history of his community because of just how bad this shit gets. A former administrator of Chaos Legion, known as Mob Control, created a server affiliated with Chaos Legion called Chaos Legion Divisions. And Tankfish had been a member of Chaos Legion Divisions with an admin role. Parlo shows evidence of what happened in this server, where a 14-year-old raid host started a great raid idea where server members, all of whom were minors, would go on hit Roblox game Criminality, take over the pizza place of the game, and dress up as maids and start roleplays with guests who were ordering pizzas. Parlo even shows the Roblox uniforms that are still up to this day that have the words written on them, where the U is
Crime
shaped to
Uproot
symbolize
Ministry.
a drop. So how exactly, when considering all of this, is his doc only about the new codes and streams, and how is any of this out of context or irrelevant? All of these points are relevant to the community which you fostered and the behavior which you're showing. There's even more things which I have not shown. So, the claim that any of this is out of context or not relevant is merely him trying to deflect and avoid even addressing any of these. He then shows his third apology, where we have another apparent lie which he still has not addressed and constantly recycled throughout his videos and throughout his entire career.
So I made a third apology. This time, longer, better, and approved by the people in the discussion group of the drama.
We already explained that his streams being private is not the case. But if in doubt, here's his Twitch channel with the clips of it still up.
Jesus Christ.
Also, what does a bunch of YouTubers approving your response actually mean? They can approve it all they want. It doesn't suddenly make it a valid response.
This is a classic legal tactic called document dumping, where one side floods the record with excessive material instead of presenting clear, focused evidence.
What is he
This
talking?
document has a
Why
lot
is
of
Tankfish talking like that? I don't get it.
text fluff. But you cannot claim that it is document dumping when the screenshots and evidence presented are all valid. And you can't claim it has a lack of structure as it is properly indexed and you can search for key terms and key incidents. This means it only fits one of several criteria to actually refer to it as a document dump. And only on the text side of things is there fluff to call it a document dump. And even said fluff provides context to the screenshots that are being given. So essentially, he dodged the whole document filled with valid evidence against him with what I've presented on behalf of Parlo, purely because it shows the sheer depravity of his community and his actions, and it would simply be impossible for him to respond to all of it. Now, here we are with the whole Parlo Mossad psyop in this section, essentially trying to claim I'm a madman conspiracy theorist for coming up with a baseless accusation. He, however, fails to mention what Green Lego Cats mentions in his video about this incident, being that the account which was gaslighting him with false info left the server the same day after Tankfish was banned, right after.
Why on earth would anyone in the server, which is where the fake messages came from since the colors aligned with our roles, send fake messages to Parlo to help Tankfish? And as soon as Tankfish was kicked without members knowing, the burner magically apologized and said they were caught.
Admittedly, my explanation in the video was partially lackluster, not providing enough context. Yet he showed evidence and responded to things from both Green Lego Cats' video and from my video separately, albeit choosing what to respond to and not responding to every single thing, picking out things he can either lie about or avoid more easily. So here's the question. If he's covered the old Discord messages he sent in his private YouTuber community, why did he not cover Green Lego Cats' response to him on the topic of gaslighting Parlo? Being the constant coincidental timing of this burner account, and leaving as soon as Tankfish was banned. Possibly because it would make too much sense and make him look worse. Even his defense to this was poor.
These other YouTubers making a video on Parlo, so Parlo stops making a video about me? Like, what?
He missed the entire point that the messages being sent to Parlo were fake, and were made to make him think these YouTubers were going to attack him, which would mean Tankfish would no longer be his priority for a video any longer. Nobody said that these people were defending him, and he entirely misunderstands the point of what was said here, almost in a way that confuses the viewer watching the response video.
If I was the real leaker and I saw someone getting kicked for my actions, I would stop leaking. Why? Because it's the perfect cover.
If you saw someone get kicked for leaking, you would stop leaking.
Yeah, Tankfish is trying to pull the zero correlation card when there's a lot of correlation. Like, he's trying to pretend that there's zero correlation, which there is a lot of correlation.
That's the perfect cover. He essentially just said he would do exactly what the burner account leaking fake messages to Parlo did for the perfect cover. Did he just admit guilt accidentally? Now we skip to 2026, my video, plus the Polybuzz stuff. Since he mentioned the site's name in his video, I guess we're free to say it now.
Now about Polybuzz, when I researched it last year, the consensus was positive, and the platform was known for being strict on censorship.
If your research on them led to a positive consensus last year, you didn't do any research. In fact, you had someone joining my server trying to reply to me in private where I already debunked this to you through them. But you're not going to mention that to your audience, are you? The site already had videos of people showing multiple not safe for work ads on YouTube over a month before you uploaded your video. Even the video advertisement I showed in mine was from before your video was uploaded. If the platform was so strict on censorship, how come Himpleton was able to get a squad of trained rape monkeys to brutalize you in a roleplay? If it was so strict on censorship, how come I showed a roleplay featuring a real child in a sexual scenario in my video that was on the front page and not through the search engine? In case you're wondering, no, he never addresses the fact that the site had real children on it. He then possibly does the funniest thing he has done throughout this whole video, being shown the Polybus front page to try to illustrate the point that it's child-friendly. Except if we
This is not
zoom into the
child-friendly.
screen, the very top of the site has a Gojo Ghetto Yaoi gay comic being advertised. Even the bots he shows in the video are ones clearly not appropriate for children, as you're seeing right now.
If I had a
which
child,
even
I wouldn't let him
highlighted
out of
some
here.
of them.
My bro.
Wait, is that fucking Levi Ackerman being forced onto a bed? What could that possibly mean, Tankfish? You can't be claiming that these are simple romances. Hell, there were even comments calling him out on taking the sponsorship before my video ever came out. The point should even be asked of whether having romantic roleplays with these AIs is even appropriate for a child. Therefore, why would you advertise a company which primarily prides itself on having romantic roleplays with AI chatbots to your child audience? The mere
Good
notion
point.
of even claiming some of these romances are appropriate is outrageous. Even seeing the tags on them and what they're saying. And the top of the page alone should tell you this is not appropriate to advertise.
Again, I do feel the current criticism feels distorted because it's
Hold on. I gotta talk to somebody. I'll be back. Sorry, I just had to sign a birthday card.
starts with the assumption that the platform is
I'm a
small,
family guy,
then they
what can I
cherry
say?
pick extreme examples to prove it. This is confirmation bias.
What? The worst one contained a real child and was on the front page, which I did not search for. My video even shows me clicking on the Mafia category.
I'm not really sure
and
if it's appropriate to use meme gifs and videos about drama like these. Honestly, yeah, Tankfish should have just uploaded the response without all the memes and shit. I don't know why he had to do that. Just delayed just delayed his response and added a bunch of filler.
fucking AI bot being on the top row sitting there. No search needed. How are we searching for the worst examples if they get shown right in front of us after one click? He then tries to compare this to finding NSFW on sites like Twitter and Reddit. The difference is, Twitter and Reddit don't allow you to post content depicting illegal material and you can be terminated for doing such. And Twitter and Reddit are sites not intended for children. You advertised a site for adults to children which hosted potentially illegal content and fetish content with no filters. And a lot of these bots were shown on the front page. The fact that the search results that contained these awful roleplays even auto-filled rather than being entirely removed or being banned is the most insane part. He then refreshes the page only to show more AI bots that are clearly not appropriate for children to be viewing or interacting with. And even amidst the fact that two official tags that you have when expanding the tags list on the site, which once again takes one click, are boy love and girl love. He then shows he can't remove the sponsorship due to him having a contract, which we've already covered. Then we go back to the same apology. Guess what? He still hasn't pointed out that he lied about the streams being private and is still citing the same apology. If you truly have taken accountability, Tankfish, then can you admit you've lied in all of these past apologies you're showing? Thanks.
The current issue where a few videos' nuke code got uncensored for 1 or 2 frames at the end of the video is also fixed. I have trimmed out the outros from all the videos that have the nuke code so that hopefully no more bugs like this happens in the future.
Wait a minute. Tankfish, you were watching my exposed video the day it came out, and the first Himpleton stream when it happened.
Like, did he?
Why are these only being page? The fact that the
Hold
search
on.
results still
Yeah, it's almost like he knows what we're doing.
So that
the streams being private and is still citing the same apology.
Oh, no. I thought he was saying that. Oh, no. I see what Dude's saying. Yeah. So Tankfish literally knew about the video the moment it was. Sorry, not the moment it was posted, but Tankfish saw the video like. Okay, to give context, Dunesi's video was posted in March, and it got traction in May. So Tankfish knew about it ever since it was posted, which was a while ago. If he knew about the video, why didn't he take action when it was posted? I'm not saying he has to be searching for but Tankfish literally knew about Dunesi's video before it got picked up by the algorithm back in May. So Tankfish only took action because he was receiving backlash for it, which is just crazy.
If you truly have taken accountability, Tankfish, then can you admit you've lied in all of these past apologies you're showing?
Just
Thanks.
get rid of it.
From all the videos that have the new code so that hopefully no more bugs like this happens in the future.
Wait a minute. Tankfish, you were watching my exposed video the day it came out, and the first Himpleton stream when it happened. Why are these only being censored now that the video actually has views?
Oh my god, the videos are hidden now, wait. He hid them!
Yeah, it's almost like he knows what we're doing.
So yes, in case Ash Apple botting comments wasn't an indicator, he knew about my video from the beginning. He only decides to take action on these new codes a month later when I've actually gotten traction. Not only that, but he does not address the fact that he took down 2 videos from his second channel whilst I was showing them on the Himpleton livestream that contained uncensored pornography,
Wow.
fanboy porn panels, and him creating a porn account and showing it. All of which he did whilst he was an adult. Why has he never addressed these 2 videos that were on his second channel, I wonder, despite them having well over 90,000 views? It's almost as if there's no defense and he can only nitpick certain topics he's revised his defense to several times over. We now enter the long tangent about how these are old mistakes he already dealt with and took accountability for his actions, which is like the 3rd time now where I've had to explain this essentially has no meaning when considering the severity of what he did. He then incorrectly uses the term info hazard. To those who aren't aware, an info hazard is something which refers to the distribution or possession of information which is dangerous to have. If I had nuclear clearance codes, not to be confused with Tankfish's codes, they may be codes that access Russian ICBMs. These would be considered an info hazard. What information do you have that is dangerous to possess, Tankfish?
They're all being
How is you
Tankfish.
responding to allegations that have already been made public a info hazard? You're not exactly possessing some dangerous information that could endanger you or others.
I also see some people saying, well, the joke isn't funny. Well, no shit, it has been explained. What joke that has been explained and overanalyzed like this would still be funny?
No, Tankfish, the joke isn't funny because it was explained. It's not funny because the joke is I wonder what example he's gonna use here to justify this.
Here, let's go into detail and analyze this joke that Dunesi and his friend Himpleton made about me.
Rape monkeys that arrive for Tankfish. We're gonna rape them to death.
They're waiting my orders. I am getting them the orders, and they are gone now.
And 3, 2, and he's raped.
So where in this clip did I actually make the joke? This was when I know in Himpleton making the joke. And although I've already responded to this completely idiotic comparison at the start of the video, let's once again refresh your memories. This is not an actionable threat, contrary to what your AI is telling you, as I can't train a squad of monkeys to assault you, and is not comparable to you committing a crime. One is a felony, one is an edgy internet joke.
Dude, how did Tankfish get Gemini to act like that? I want an AI that acts like that. God, man.
This is a false equivalence.
Like what you did to the new codes, calling them EPI, then in turn calling me a groomer, you quickly go down a slippery slope where a lot of jokes suddenly become federal felonies.
That's the thing. Your jokes are felonies. You're linking to children, which is illegal. One of the jokes you gave a code for led to which is illegal.
And I know he's doing it. Just look at the thumbnail. He's insinuating that I'm a pedophile.
Oh, really? We have fucking Albert Einstein in the room with us.
Oh my
What gave you the
god.
idea that the thumbnail insinuated you were a pedophile? I couldn't possibly tell. He then spends the next
Yeah,
minute
we gotta roll
downplaying
that back. That was great.
idea that the thumbnail led to
That was
which is
actually
illegal.
And I know he's doing it. Just look at the thumbnail. He's insinuating that I'm a pedophile.
Oh, really? We have fucking Albert Einstein in the room with us. What gave you the idea that the
Oh my
thumbnail
god, dude.
insinuated you were a pedophile? I couldn't possibly tell.
He's
then
losing his
spends
mind
the
for bullshit.
next minute downplaying how severe these actions are, saying it's a stupid joke constantly.
My concern wasn't necessarily the new codes, but what the removal implies.
Oh boy, I wonder what their reason was.
I don't know if after shitting on me for new codes, they will shit on me for some other similar stupid jokes I make, and they might just keep moving the line until nothing is safe to say anymore.
This is approaching the levels of being as stupid as the whole "I'm not gay" argument he made earlier to defend that he didn't show certain codes that he definitely did show. If Tankfish didn't make a joke involving children, I wouldn't have anything to make a video off of. A felony and crude or edgy humor, as we've established, are two very different things. Hell, as we've already seen, I laugh at and make my own fucked up jokes. Difference is, my jokes don't involve potentially scarring children for life, or causing them to develop addictions to NSFW content by sharing it to them, which again is just EPI.
And better than ever, and you're all finished.
Now, I doubt anyone sees this and be like, oh shit, this is so hot, I'm gonna go buy a plug and stick it up my ass. But the point stand, if this isn't safe, then a lot of other things could technically not be safe as well.
He entirely misses what I said here. The point wasn't that someone would get aroused by a plug falling out of a Roblox player's ass. The point is you're showing a sexual object to a bunch of teens and kids watching your video. Let's think about it this way. As you are an entertainer of mostly underage children, would it be appropriate for you to enter a playground and start flailing Parlo's Cinderella around as if it were Excalibur as a joke?
Yeah!
Fuck no. Because it's inappropriate for a child to see that.
W
In the same sense,
Tankfish.
it's inappropriate that you're showing a plug to your child audience.
Let's
It's
go.
inappropriate for you to show fanboys with exposed underwear
Let's go,
and their bulges
Tankfish.
protruding in your videos. It's inappropriate to show uncensored hentai sites.
W
It's inappropriate
Tankfish.
to refer to
My
adult
hero.
dildo companies in front of a bunch of children.
Oh my
How
god.
hard is it to understand that what I'm criticizing you for is adult jokes, adult
Oh my
content,
god,
and
I need
felonies in a
to
children's
stretch so
space?
badly.
They don't have to be aroused by seeing a butt plug, but the reference or showing of a sexual object to them is not appropriate.
Also, any personalities online all have a pretty sizable minor audience, and the minors on Roblox.
Jinxie is a variety content streamer. Once again, not a Roblox YouTuber who panders to children. Him showing his chest is not equivalent to you showing hentai to children. And I mean, this fucking graph he drew is insane. Me calling you out is on the basis of you harming children, such as myself, at the time for what you did. This whole argument uses what is called a slippery slope fallacy, claiming that you calling him out on committing two felonies, which apparently is just a joke, will lead to stricter rules. Saying that out loud doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? He then yaps a little more before making the joke that he's sharing what he goons to children.
When you realize my defense wasn't about me trying to purposely keep the kids exposed to the codes because I wanted to share so badly what I gooned, but because I had deeper concerns about the double standard being set and what would still be considered as a joke. I also want to quickly address the accusations regarding me liking certain illegal content. They are false. The defense I made for it was in the full context. At the time, I had just woken up to a massive conflict in general where a guy was being threatened with a dox because he claimed was legal. However, after actually doing the research, I found out it was illegal in Canada.
Oh, here we go again.
He
He omits context again in this response. Was not banned at all. Only content was being posted by people freely, such as his pedophile former moderator Millum. And it took a whole argument for this content to be banned. You yourself engaged with this content and posted it too, prior to this whole argument. That's what you were being called out on. Your staff engaged with it, and only when the backlash from your whole community rolled in did you actually do anything. Not out of acknowledging these artworks are reprehensible, but because of the backlash.
Fun. The drama people might go after me for some other jokes I made. They might try to frame me with other messages or things I've said and done.
I could not care less that you said a racial slur in 2021, and I never called you out for this, nor was I going to, since this isn't something that really matters to me. I think
finds out
just
it's
about
illegal,
everyone
it's sort of
has
just
said
to
at
post
least
his
one or two
nudes,
slurs in their
true.
lifetime. Who gives a fuck? Are you going to, however, point out that the uniform you're showing here is one that you're still selling on your Roblox group, the same platform that is dominated primarily by underage teens and children?
Thank you for sitting through this with me, and I'll see you next time.
Nope. Finally, we've reached the end of the video. This sucked. Let's quickly check the like. Oh wow! Oh wow! That's just awesome. I mean, wow. I think that's too many lies for it to be
19
appealing
lies.
to Tankfish, since he only likes it when it's less than 18. If you know, you know.
Hey!
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed sitting through this with me. I don't need to make another video since his entire response is now debunked. I have a few interesting projects planned in the future, and I will be posting about them soon. Though those of you who've been here for a while know how amazing my upload schedule is. Thank you for watching this video, thank you for sticking with me, and I hope to see you around for the next one. Goodbye.
That's it. That's the video. Now what? Well, I'm gonna take a shower and, yeah, Tankfish is not innocent. Game night? Maybe. But yeah, that's really about it. And honestly, when the Tankfish fans catch on to this video, they're probably just gonna spam a bunch of comments. Just wait, just wait. They'll start saying, "Oh, full of misinformation. Oh, I have my head up my ass." It's inevitable. But yeah, that's the stream, guys. That's the reaction stream. Tankfish is in your drains. Make sure to avoid it. Okay, I'll avoid my drains. Anyway, I'm gonna take a shower. Yeah, that's really about it. See ya.